Okay, so I wanted to kind of go over my Frankenstein collage because I am obsessed with this and why I put certain details on this collage. So spoiler alert, this is going to be spoilers for the Frankenstein 2025 movie as well as some thoughts on the movie. I've read the book probably, it was in 2018, so what is that, 8 years ago now? And this movie made me want to reread it because I didn't originally like the book when I read it. I had to read it as a high school senior, so like that's a whole other thing. So I guess where I should start with is not something, someone, which is a line that the creature says to Victor. So I originally wanted to do the quote that it was like, if you cannot, along the lines of, if you cannot love me, then I will indulge in rage. But I kind of put that one aside because I remembered looking at Frankenstein edits that this not something, someone, and that kind of, I feel like, represents the essence of who the creature is and was. So I also made the something kind of like, I cut that into pieces, partially because I didn't know if I was going to have enough room, but also I didn't make it whole, like not or someone, because it's like to represent the kind of break of and pieces that like he's not just something, like he is a person. So that's why I have the whole someone as like a whole word, because he's not really like, he's made of many parts, but he's not as broken as I think that Victor thinks he is. So that's a little bit on the not something, someone. And I thought it was a very moving quote too. Like, I'm tearing up right now actually, like thinking about that scene in particular, and in several scenes. This little like hand holding, and there's like another hand holding this skeleton and like organs is really what made me want to do a collage. So that is to represent, as well as these two medical drawings, the research that Victor did to build this man. The chains, one, this tiny one right here, and this rusty one over here, those are to represent the chains that Victor has the creature in. The background, if you can see it, the hills and the house are to represent the village that the creature lives in for a short period of time. The eyeball, the color eyeball, is to represent the color eye, the one eye that the creature has that looks different. The leaf is to represent that scene of the leaf between the creature and Elizabeth, and I think that Elizabeth, her interaction with the creature was like one of the most interesting things about the movie, and I kind of wish it elaborated more on that in some ways, like a more on Elizabeth's character, because I did like the direction that they went in, but I felt like ultimately it was unfulfilled in some ways. But obviously it's not really her story, it's the creature's story and Victor's. So we have this from phrenology sticker. We have a deer. Now, the head being severed was kind of a happy accident, I will say, because I feel like this represents that scene with him feeding the deer and then the deer being immediately killed. And maybe I'm putting too much meaning into that, but for me it was like, I was really disappointed in myself that I ripped the sticker, but then I was like, oh no, wait, like that actually represents kind of the whole collage of like balancing him being someone with also like his past. And obviously this is a drawing of Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's creature. So I drew this, and I did the lettering as well. The washi tape, this blood spatter washi tape, was to represent the blood that has been shed in the movie. Also to represent the wounds, both physical and psychological, that the creature has. And the top, this sticker reminded me, you can't see it because it's really kind of covered up, but it reminds me of the end of when he's staring at the sun. And I think that's like kind of like a moon, actually, but I don't know, when I saw it, it looked like kind of like a sunrise. So I'm just really proud of this collage. I really liked making it. Like, I've never had such a, like, I need to make something right now as I did this movie. And I remember going in the theater and, like, I liked the movie, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely things I've seen this year that I've liked more. But this really inspired me in some ways to collage and to go back and make a portrait of the creature. And I also want to reread that book again, and I've been wanting to reread it now that I've kind of lived through life a little bit more, because I feel like, you know, at 18, I'm not going to get the same value out of it as I would now, because I'm an entirely different person. But I really wanted to share this because this was something that I'm, like, immensely proud of. It's just a collage, but I really like the creativity and, like, the thought that I put into it, and I kind of wanted to share, like, why I arranged it the way I did. Part of it was, like, an intuitive thing, like, here, the background, if you can, yeah, right here, this scrapbook paper background is, like, a floral pattern to represent nature, because one of the things I do remember in the themes is, like, nature versus technology, but this is a film that's, like, rich with symbolism. I mean, there's so much things that could be said. It could be said about the cycles of trauma and generational trauma and how we perpetuate them. It could be about, like, creation, who is God, and the lack of God, or I've heard, like, Mother Earth, like, the nature as a theme, nature versus technology. I feel like God and religion, another thing that's brought up, but I feel like this film really kind of hit the nail on that, like, generational trauma type thing, and what it means to live a life what it means to live, what it means to be human, really. And I think that is very interesting, and I've never felt, like, such empathy for the creature as I did watching the movie, and then remembering what happens in the book while I was watching the movie. There were some things some choices, I guess, like Heinrich, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of, like, that kind of subplot being added in. I understand why they did it, but I would say overwhelmingly, like, Guillermo del Toro gets the vibes. Like, I almost want to rewatch it because I just feel this thing of, like, it's made me feel something, obviously. It's made me create something and think about something, and I thought collage was an interesting way to create, you know, something of many parts, collage it together in some ways, like Victor makes the creature. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about Frankenstein or my collage below. Thank you for watching.